Hello everyone, Carolina Venom here. Today I'm taking a look at the Polaroid iF045 point and shoot digital camera. This is a waterproof camera, even though I will never dunk it in water to find out if it really is. But that's what it claims to be. What drew me to this camera here was actually the color. I like the color orange on a camera for some reason, I don't know why. But when I've seen this camera a lot lately. And when I seen it the other day in orange, I just picked it up and wanted to give it a try and see how it works and see the quality, because it does look kind of cheap looking, but you know, you can't really base a book on it by its cover, so you have to just see how the quality is, and that's what I intend to do. Gonna take you through the camera, the features, everything that it does, and all that good stuff. So let's go and get started with that. Like I said, it's orange with black accents around it. It does have a front and rear LCD screen, 1.8 inch for the front. You have your flash, a little red blinking light here. It is a fixed lens, so there is no optical zoom or autofocus. It is a 14 megapixel camera. On the side here, you got your micro mode on or off. On top, it says it's a 3M waterproof camera. This button right here goes from your back screen to your front screen and vice versa. Your power button and your shutter camcorder button. On this side here, you have nothing. On the bottom, you have your tripod mount. This is your lock and battery door. It does take a micro SD card instead of a standard SD card. It takes two AAA batteries and your USB port. I do use nickel metal hydride batteries because they last longer, and the directional way to put them in is found right there. The back here we have, let's change hands so I can do this a bit better. Got a 2.7 inch LCD display with your zoom in and out here, your flash, playback mode and menu button. These buttons also serve different purposes in the camera, like your directional buttons and your delete button here. Let's go ahead and power it on, and I'll take you to some of the basics of the camera. We'll go ahead and push the mode button, go to the camcorder first, go to the menu here. It is only a VGA camera, 640 by 480 and QVGA 320 by 240. I've not really had a whole lot of chance to try this camera out, so I can't comment really on hardly anything, including pictures, except for a few pictures and stuff I took around the house, but that's about it. Your white balance. So we'll back out of here, go into the camera mode here, back into the menu settings. Your resolution, it goes from 14 megapixel down to 8, 5, 3, and VGA qualities. Your quality mode is super fine, fine, and normal. If anybody has ever owned a Vivitar camera, a lot of these settings are about the same as the Vivitar. You got your metering, white balance, ISO up to 800. Your exposure, your self timer, your sharpness, your effects. It does have several different effects: black and white, sepia negative, low mode, pencil sketch, red, green, blue, and vivid modes. Your date stamp and your quick view. This button over here, like I said, serves the purpose of going to your settings, which you got sounds, frequency, power save language, date and time, format, reset, all, and version. Not much else to this camera, honestly. I mean, it's got a few features, but not very many. But it is, small. It does feel pretty good in your hand and everything, and it's not that. It looks a little bulky, but it's, I kind of like it. Like I said, this button right here does go to the front camera. With no autofocus, it just takes the picture. And one thing I have found out about this camera when I first got it, and powered it on, I thought another grainy lens is going to be terrible in taking pictures. But I have found out that whenever you take a picture, even though it is grainy, it's just in whenever it's not doing anything, when you take a picture, it does clear out. So that's a good thing. It says it's got a precision lens. I'm not really sure what that means really for a camera like this, but one thing that I have found out about the video recorder on this camera is the fact that it's for only VGA quality. It uses a lot of memory. I tested it, and it takes around 75 megabytes per minute for VGA quality. I have seen some 1080 cameras not take that much, make that much memory per minute. So I think for VGA quality, I think that's pretty unsatisfactory in my opinion. My Lumix that I am recording this on right now, in VGA is like, I think 40 to 45 megabytes per minute, and that's a big difference from 75 megabytes per minute. I recorded to see how long it would last on battery life. I recorded around 55 minutes. It still had battery life in it. It didn't cut off. I just cut it off, and it was like 3.6 gigs of memory used. So I thought that's a lot of memory for just 50 minutes of record time. But I can guarantee the QVGA is going to be a terrible resolution, because most of the time 240 is just not that good anyway. But this camera is a little neat. The flash does work pretty good. One thing I found out though is if you're too close to the flash, like a lot of cameras, it will overexpose the image. The reason why I bought it is because, like I said, I've seen this camera several times before. It does look kind of cheap looking, but it don't feel very cheap. But it's just the way, I guess it just looks more like a toy than it does an actual camera. To me, I liked it because it had the front-facing lens as well, for self videos and pictures. And really, the color is what got me. That's kind of what stood out and grabbed me, was the color of the camera. The price point of the camera to me is a little unreasonable in my opinion. $64 with tax for this little Polaroid camera with a fixed lens and not even an optical zoom or autofocus, nothing like that. And for $5, $6, $7 more, I could have bought a Sony, a Fuji, or a Samsung digital camera with optical zoom and autofocus and a whole lot more stabilization and all kinds of more features. I'll go ahead and say a better camera. Because like I said, I'm not passing judgment on this camera at all, because like I said, I've not had a chance to use it, but I do know it's not going to be as good as a Panasonic. As good as a Sony or a Fuji or nothing like that. But I think this camera should have been around $40. Strictly my opinion. All my reviews are strictly my opinion. They're solely based on my opinion on what I think of the camera and my experiences with the camera. Everybody has different opinions about the cameras they use, and but I give my reviews and my thoughts as truthful as I can based on what I think of the camera, to try to help y'all out best I can. But I think that $60 for this camera is a bad price, especially when you can buy a higher name brand like Sony, Samsung, or Fujifilm, or even some cheaper Nikons for around $10, $15 more. If I had a choice between this one for $60 and a Sony for $70, I'd pick the Sony for $70. But the reason why I picked this one is because the neatness of it and the front lens, and I've always wanted to try this camera out since I first seen it. But they come in different colors. But when I seen the orange, I just decided to grab it. If I'm going to keep this camera or not, it's undecided. I highly doubt that I keep this camera, because I really don't need another camera right now in my collection. I mainly bought it to try it out, test it, review it, And who knows, if it takes really good pictures in the daytime and good video and sound quality, I may end up keeping this thing. You never can tell. But anyway, the next video that I do will contain pictures, videos, and probably an ending video using the camera, giving you the rundown of what I think about the camera, pictures and videos and all that good stuff. So stay tuned for that. Hope this review helped a little bit. If you got any questions, comments, please feel free to leave them below. Subscribe to my channel. I sure would appreciate it. This has been a first look at the Polaroid iF045. Cool little camera. It's small. Feels good in the hand. A little heavy, but it's not too bad. Helps for better stability, I think. But a cool little camera. So we're going to try it out here, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Y'all have a good one.